The man suddenly stepped into thin air. It was already the 5th day he had been in the desert. The water in his flask had long been finished. At that moment, he suddenly saw a plant on the ground. He quickly pulled it out, but he found it had no moisture at all. Just as the man was feeling hopeless, a turtle suddenly appeared in front of him. The man excitedly held it in his arms. This was undoubtedly his lifeline. But the turtle's appearance still couldn't solve the water problem. He had no choice but to stick a reed into the ground. He desperately sucked the fresh water from it. Just as the man was drinking with great enthusiasm, a wild donkey was staring at him intently. The man was very happy. He dragged his tired body over to the wild donkey. The man, who hadn't seen any other creatures for days, kept greeting the wild donkey. Then the man lay on its back. He let the wild donkey carry him across the desert. Meanwhile, their partners, waiting for rescue, were transporting ostrich eggs in a cave. These empty shells could be used as containers for water. They buried the ostrich eggs filled with water in the sand, serving as temporary water stations. This would allow them to travel farther to hunt and not dehydrate on their way back. Soon the three of them spotted a few antelopes. They immediately split into 2 teams. Once everything was ready, the 3 of them used the most primitive method to catch their prey. That night, the 5 of them finally had a decent meal, but the amount of meat was not enough for them. The next morning, Brian went out hunting again with the doctor. But while they were resting along the way, Brian pointed the shotgun at the doctor. Faced with the scarce supplies, someone had to leave for the rest of them to survive. So he told the doctor to go find rescue. Otherwise, he would deal with him right there. It turned out that half a month ago, the plane they were on had an accident, crashing in the center of this barren desert. To survive, he had to go search for rescue alone. And Brian had already prepared his excuse. When he returned to the cave, he lied that the doctor had gone insane. He even hit him in the head with a rock and then left alone. But Bane, standing nearby, had doubts. The next day, when Brian went out with another companion, he tried to use the same trick again. But his companion seized the shotgun from him. However, the cunning Brian had not loaded any bullets into the gun. Just as he thought no one knew about this, Bane, hiding in the distance, not only saw it, but also informed Anna about it. In order to prevent a tragedy from happening to them, the 2 of them tricked Brian into a deep pit. That night, the sky became overcast. A heavy rainstorm poured down instantly. Only then did they remember Brian in the pit. However, when they got there, they saw that the rainwater had filled the pit, and Brian was nowhere to be found. In the end, only the 2 of them remained. One day, Bane suddenly heard a loud noise. A helicopter was slowly descending nearby. The 2 of them desperately shouted for help at the helicopter. Fortunately, the pilot saw them. As they left, Bane continued shouting for his companions. He prayed that everyone was still alive. However, no one responded, no matter how much he called. Finally, the 2 of them left the place on the helicopter.